Alright, so with the pole mount, you're going to need to actually have another bracket from 5-star mount, or any bracket, to be honest with you, will work. But today we're going to be using the 5-star mount bracket for the television to show you the installation of this product today. So what you want to do is grab all your parts that came with your pole mount, and then you'll grab the back bracket that goes with the television itself. So now grab your pole mount bracket and your television bracket, and we'll show you how to install that. But when you're putting this on, remember that the 5-star mount brackets are all universal, meaning there's no top or bottom, so it doesn't matter how you install it here. But if you're using a different bracket that does have a top or bottom, you want to make sure that this slot is pointed towards the ceiling, and you want to make sure this hole is pointed towards the ground. We'll give you more steps about that in just a moment, show you how that works. But for now, let's go ahead and install our pole mount bracket to our television bracket, and just get it centered. Go ahead and place our screws in the holes. You can do this a couple of ways. Traditionally, you would want to leave this loose so that it's easier to get the pole in. But in this case, you can tighten it down if you'd like to, just whatever you choose to do. Now, if you decide to leave these loose, you want to make sure at some point you come back and tighten them up. You don't want this mount sliding around everywhere. So we get the screw in place. I'll grab the nut that I dropped just a moment ago. And go ahead and put that in place. Alright, so we've installed our pole bracket to our television bracket, like such. Now let's move on to our pole itself. Now when you're installing this pole, you've got a double locking mechanism here with this pin and with this screw here. I'll show you how that works. Take your pole or your extender, and you want to make sure the slot is pointing outwards. And you're going to line up the holes that are here on both sides with the holes that are here on the original pole. So go ahead and slide it in. Set your height. Line up your holes. Now, important to remember about this particular locking mechanism. It only works one way. So if you try to put it in this way and it doesn't work so well, switch it around and try to put it in this way, or vice versa. In this instance, if you'll point the screw towards you, stick it in on this side, it'll work right every time. Make sure you line up your holes, and it'll slide right in. Bring our lock around, go ahead and get it in place, and we'll tighten down this screw. Double locking mechanism. Now if you want to, you can take this. The reason it has a double strand here and slide it over the pole before you install it. That way if you're 20 foot in the air, you take this locking pin out, it doesn't fall to the ground. I didn't do that today, but you can do that optionally if you'd like. Alright, once you get the pole in place, you're going to want to go ahead and slide it into the mount itself. And again, as I was saying, we want to make sure that the cable slot is pointing outward here. You would run your cables, of course, down in here, come out here, and connect to your television. All right? So, once you've got that in place, we've provided you with a screw that goes onto the end of the mount itself. Get that in place with the washer. Grab your Allen wrench, and you want to make sure this is really tight. This is going to be your key to holding up your television. Okay. Once you do that, you can go ahead and tighten down the television bracket screws and bolts that we did earlier.